Breaking news overnight, a new report in Buzzfeed claiming President Trump directed his former fixer Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about negotiations for a Trump Tower in Moscow. The report adds that special counsel Robert Mueller has evidence to back that up. Congressional Democrats calling for an immediate investigation, declaring that Trump must be impeached if the story is true. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has all the latest. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. Some Democrats on Capitol Hill are jumping on this report and calling for an immediate congressional investigation, and some potential presidential candidates are now using the I word, impeachment. This morning, an explosive new report from Buzzfeed News claiming President Trump directed his former attorney, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress about negotiations with Russia to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Citing two law enforcement officials involved in an investigation of the matter, the article claims after the election, the president instructed Cohen to say that negotiations over the building project ended months earlier than it actually did, in an attempt to, quote, obscure Trump's involvement. ABC News has not corroborated Buzzfeed's account, and overnight, the president's current lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, told several media outlets, "If you believe Cohen, I can get you a great deal on the Brooklyn Bridge." The Buzzfeed report also claims special counsel Robert Mueller learned about the president's alleged directive to lie not just from Cohen, but from interviews with witnesses from the Trump organization, internal company emails, and text messages. During the campaign, President Trump claimed he had no business ties with Russia.
I don't deal there. I have no businesses that have no loans from Russia.
But late last year, the president admitted on Twitter he lightly looked at doing a building in Moscow. Cohen made clear to our George Stephanopoulos that his actions were directed by President Trump himself.
He's saying very clearly that he never directed you to do anything wrong. Is that true?
I don't think there's anybody that believes that. First of all, nothing at the Trump organization was ever done unless it was run through Mr. Trump.
The issue of obstruction specifically addressed during William Barr's confirmation hearing for Attorney General.
In your memo, you talked about the Comey decision, and you talked about obstruction of justice, and you already went over that, which I appreciate. You wrote on page 1 that a president persuading a person to commit perjury would be obstruction. Is that right?
Yes.
Now responding to the new Buzzfeed report, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat Adam Schiff, called the allegations among the most serious to date, vowing to do what's necessary to find out if it's true. We have no comment from Cohen so far, and his attorneys last night also did not comment on what could be a major development and a significant part of any Mueller report. George?
Okay, Pierre, thanks. Let's bring our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, for more on this right now. So let's just begin with the basics. If the heart of the story is true, that in a phone call or a face-to-face meeting, President Trump says to Michael Cohen, go lie to Congress.
Yeah, now it's easy, right? Up to this point, we've talked about where is the line for obstruction of justice. It's not enough, for example, some people say, to fire James Comey. What would be witness tampering? This is easy. If he told Michael Cohen to lie to Congress, no one would suggest that's not obstruction of justice or witness tampering, and that would be a crime.
It was the first impeachment order against Richard Nixon. We know from what Mueller said during Cohen's sentencing that he provided relevant and useful information. He described the circumstances of preparing this false testimony to the Congress. What if it was something a little more subtle than the president saying to him, go lie? What if all the lawyers are talking, they're sharing information, they're sharing stories they know are not true, and saying we all have to be consistent, basically knowing that Michael Cohen's going to lie, but not directing it?
Well, first of all, I'm going to hope that all the lawyers together aren't gathering and sort of talking together about how to lie.
They did have a joint defense agreement.
Yeah, they did. But a joint defense agreement is different than saying that all the lawyers are getting together and saying we have to work on how to deal with this lie. But assuming it's a little grayer, assuming that it's unclear and that maybe there's an understanding and that there's no directive, that makes it a lot harder to prove, because you need, and that's one of the most important points from this article, is this idea that there are emails to back it up, that there were interviews with numerous witnesses. So you want to, as much as possible, investigating this, take it out of Michael Cohen's hands and put it into the hands of others.
And then finally in the article, it does describe activity all during the campaign, 10 meetings with the president over the Trump Tower in Moscow, suggesting it's going to bring in $300 million. He needs Russian help for it. He's lying about it at a time that Russia is helping his campaign.
And that, no question, will be part of the essence of Mueller's investigation, because this is the most important point. When the Russians are hacking, the question is, was anyone from the Trump campaign in any way assisting in that? Meaning, you don't have to actually be assisting in the hacking itself. It could be the coordination, it could be the distribution, whatever the case may be. But if they're coordinating, colluding is the word that everyone is talking about, with the Russians in some way, shape, or form, at that time, that's potentially perilous.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.